Your life is not made of years. Your life is made of ordinary days. If you cannot enjoy your days, you cannot enjoy your life. Think about this for a moment. What if the biggest mistake you are making right now is not failing, losing money, or falling behind? What if the real mistake is waking up every morning and treating another day of your life like something to get through? Most people are waiting for a better future. They are waiting for less stress, more money, better circumstances, or the perfect moment to finally enjoy themselves. But while they are waiting, life keeps moving. Days become months. Months become years. And many people never stop long enough to ask one simple question: am I actually enjoying the life I am working so hard to build? In this video, you will discover why so many people forget how to enjoy everyday life, why small worries steal beautiful moments, and how to stop rushing through your days before they disappear, because one day you will realize that life was never hiding in the future. It was hidden inside the ordinary days you almost overlooked. Chapter 1. Stop waiting for life to finally begin. How many times have you told yourself that life will get better later? Later when you have more money. Later when work becomes easier. Later when stress goes away. Later when you finally reach your goal. Many people spend years living with that thought. They keep pushing their happiness into the future. They keep telling themselves that the real life they want is waiting somewhere ahead. But one day, they wake up and realize they have spent so much time preparing to live that they forgot to actually live. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that life begins after everything is fixed. They think they need the perfect situation before they can enjoy their days. They think they need more success before they can relax. They think they need fewer problems before they can smile. But life does not work that way. Problems do not completely disappear. Responsibilities do not suddenly stop. There will always be another goal to chase and another challenge to face. If you keep waiting for the perfect time to enjoy your life, you may spend your entire life waiting. Think about how many good moments pass by unnoticed. A peaceful morning, a conversation with someone you care about, a quiet walk outside, a meal shared with family, a moment of laughter after a long day. These things may seem small, but they are part of life. Many people rush through them because their mind is somewhere else. They are focused on tomorrow while today slips away. They are so busy trying to build a better future that they forget they are living their life right now. The truth is that life is not only about reaching destinations, it is also about how you spend your days while moving toward those destinations. Every day matters. Every day is a piece of your life. When you waste a day, you are not losing time from the future. You are losing time from your life. That is why it is important to stop treating today as something that must simply be survived. Today deserves your attention. Today deserves your energy. Today deserves your presence. Many people wake up each morning already carrying the weight of next week. They worry about bills. They worry about work. They worry about things that have not even happened yet. Their body is in one place, but their mind is somewhere else. As a result, they miss the simple experiences that make life meaningful. They stop noticing the sound of people they love. They stop noticing the feeling of being alive. They stop noticing all the things that once brought them joy. Success is important. Growth is important. Building a better future is important. But there is a danger when those goals become the only thing you think about. If every day becomes nothing more than a race toward the next achievement, then life starts to feel empty, no matter how much you accomplish. The goal should never be to arrive at some future point and finally start living. The goal should be to live well while you are growing, to enjoy the journey while you are improving, to appreciate each day while you are building something better. Take a moment and ask yourself an honest question. If nothing changed for the next month except your attitude toward each day, would your life feel different? For many people, the answer is yes. Not because their circumstances changed, but because their attention changed. They started noticing what they already had instead of focusing only on what they lacked. They started appreciating moments instead of rushing through them. They stopped waiting for permission to enjoy their own life. Do not make the mistake of believing that life begins someday. Life began a long time ago. It is happening right now. It is happening in the ordinary moments. It is happening in the conversations you have today. It is happening in the choices you make this afternoon. It is happening while you work toward your goals. The future is important, but today matters too. If you can learn to enjoy today while still working for tomorrow, you will discover something powerful. You will stop chasing life and start living it. And that may be one of the most important decisions you ever make. Chapter 2. Notice how much of life you miss. I want you to think about something that most people never stop to think about. Not because they do not care, but because they are too busy moving from one day to the next. Life is happening all around them, yet they barely notice it. They wake up, check their phone, rush through their morning, deal with responsibilities, think about problems, and go to sleep. Then they repeat the same pattern again. Weeks pass, months pass, years pass. And somewhere along the way, they begin to wonder why life feels so empty, even though they have been busy the entire time. The answer is often simpler than people expect. They are present physically, but mentally they are somewhere else. They are looking ahead, looking behind, worrying, planning, comparing, regretting, or chasing. Because of that, they miss a huge part of the life that is right in front of them. Think about the last time someone important to you was talking. Were you completely listening? Or were you already thinking about what you needed to do next? Many people hear words but never truly listen. They nod their heads while their mind is occupied with something else. Then years later, they wish they had paid more attention to those conversations. They wish they had slowed down enough to appreciate the people who were right there beside them. Human beings have a strange habit. We often fail to recognize the value of something while we still have it. We notice it after it is gone. We miss opportunities because we assume there will always be another one. We take people for granted because we assume they will always be there. We postpone meaningful experiences because we think there will be more time later. Then one day, reality reminds us that nothing stays the same forever. Some people spend so much energy thinking about their future that they barely experience their present. Now, having goals is important. Planning is important. Growth is important. But there is a difference between preparing for tomorrow and completely ignoring today. If every day becomes nothing more than a bridge to the future, you end up crossing thousands of bridges without noticing any part of the journey. Have you ever driven somewhere and realized you barely remember the drive? Your mind was so occupied that the entire trip felt like a blur. Many people are doing that with their lives. They are moving through years the same way. They arrive at milestones and wonder where the time went. They wonder why everything seems to move faster as they get older. Part of the reason is because they stop paying attention. When you truly notice your life, time feels different. You notice the sound of rain outside your window. You notice the warmth of sunlight on your face during the morning. You notice the expression on someone's face when they are happy to see you. You notice the feeling of sitting quietly after a long day. These moments may seem ordinary, but they are not meaningless. In fact, they are often the moments that make life feel rich and real. Many people are waiting for major events to make them happy. They think happiness will arrive when they earn more money, buy a better house, get a promotion, or achieve a big goal. Then the goal arrives, and the excitement fades faster than expected. Soon another target appears, and the cycle continues. This happens because they have trained themselves to overlook the value of everyday experiences. The quality of your life is not determined only by major achievements. It is also shaped by what you notice each day. Two people can live in the same circumstances and have completely different experiences. One person notices problems everywhere. The other notices opportunities, relationships, growth, learning, and moments worth appreciating. The difference is not always in their situation. The difference is often in their attention. Pay attention to how often your mind leaves the present moment. It happens more than most people realize. You sit down to eat, and your thoughts are somewhere else. You spend time with family, and your attention is divided. You take a walk, but your mind is replaying yesterday or worrying about next week. Before long, entire sections of life disappear because you were never fully there to experience them. There is another cost to missing your life. You lose your ability to feel gratitude. Gratitude is difficult when your attention is always focused on what is missing. Many people have good things in their lives that they no longer see because they have become familiar. A supportive friend, good health, a safe place to sleep, the ability to learn, the ability to grow. These things stop feeling special because they become normal. Yet millions of people would be grateful to have them. One of the most powerful changes you can make is learning to notice what you usually ignore. Notice the effort people make for you. Notice your progress instead of only your shortcomings. Notice the opportunities that already exist around you. Notice the lessons hidden inside difficult situations. Notice how much life is happening while you are busy making plans. The truth is that many of life's best moments are not announced in advance. They do not arrive with a spotlight. They often appear quietly. A meaningful conversation, a genuine laugh, a peaceful evening, a moment of understanding, a memory created without realizing it. If your mind is always somewhere else, you miss these moments completely. Successful people often understand something that others overlook. They know that achievement alone is not enough. They learn to be present during the process. They appreciate growth while it is happening. They do not wait until the finish line to experience satisfaction. They find value in the work, the learning, the relationships, and the daily experiences that fill their lives. As you move through your day, pay attention. Notice the details. Notice the people. Notice the opportunities. Notice the moments that would normally pass by without recognition. Life is not only made of major events. Life is made of ordinary days, and those ordinary days eventually become your years. One day you will look back on this season of your life. The question is whether you will remember truly experiencing it or simply rushing through it. Do not allow your days to become invisible. Do not become so distracted that you fail to see the life that is already unfolding around you. Open your eyes to what is here right now. Pay attention to what matters. The more you notice, the more alive you will feel. And the more alive you feel, the less likely you are to wake up years from now wondering where your life went. Chapter 3. Break free from the rush of every day. One of the biggest reasons people stop enjoying life is not because life is bad. It is because they are always in a hurry. They rush through breakfast. They rush through conversations. They rush through work. They rush through weekends. They rush through months. Then one day they realize they have been rushing through years. The problem is not simply that they are busy. The problem is that they have become so focused on getting to the next thing that they no longer experience the thing they are doing right now. Many people wake up already feeling behind. Before their feet touch the floor, their mind is racing. They are thinking about deadlines, responsibilities, messages, appointments, and unfinished tasks. Their day begins with pressure instead of purpose. From that moment forward, they spend the entire day trying to catch up. By the time evening arrives, they feel exhausted, yet they cannot clearly remember much of what happened during the day. Think about how often people say they cannot wait for Friday. Then Friday comes and goes. They cannot wait for vacation. Then vacation ends. They cannot wait for next year. Then next year becomes another year behind them. This pattern continues because they have trained themselves to live somewhere other than the present moment. Their attention is always reaching forward. As a result, they rarely feel satisfied where they are. The truth is that rushing has become normal. Society often praises people who are constantly busy. If someone is always working, always moving, always occupied, others assume they are successful. But being busy and living well are not the same thing. A person can fill every hour of the day and still feel disconnected from life. Activity alone does not create fulfillment. What creates fulfillment is being fully engaged in what matters. There is a difference between moving quickly and living wisely. Sometimes life requires hard work. Sometimes schedules become demanding. Sometimes responsibilities increase. But even during those seasons, you do not have to carry a sense of constant urgency. You do not have to treat every moment like an emergency. You can work hard without losing your ability to appreciate your life. Pay attention to people who seem calm even when they have a lot to do. They are not calm because they have fewer responsibilities. They are calm because they understand something important. They know that panic does not improve performance. Stress does not automatically produce better results. Constant rushing often leads to mistakes, frustration, and burnout. A clear mind is usually more effective than a frantic one. Many people tell themselves they will slow down later. They believe they will enjoy life after they finish a project, earn more money, or solve a problem. Yet every finished project is replaced by another one. Every goal creates a new goal. Every challenge is followed by another challenge. If your ability to enjoy life depends on reaching a point where everything is complete, that day may never arrive. There is something powerful about slowing your pace enough to actually experience your day. Notice the taste of your food instead of eating while distracted. Listen carefully when someone is speaking instead of planning your response. Take a few moments to breathe deeply before moving to the next task. These actions may seem simple, but they change the way life feels. They remind you that you are not a machine moving through a checklist. You are a human being living a life. The greatest tragedy is not having too much to do. The greatest tragedy is reaching the end of a season and realizing you were so busy rushing through it that you barely experienced it. Break free from the rush. Do your work, pursue your goals, honor your responsibilities. But do not sacrifice your entire life in the process. Slow your mind. Be present where you are. Give your attention to the people and experiences that matter. Life moves fast enough on its own. It does not need your help. The more you learn to slow down internally, the more you will discover that each day contains far more value than you ever noticed before. Chapter 4. Enjoy today without fixing everything first. Many people have made a silent agreement with themselves without even realizing it. They have decided that they are not allowed to enjoy life until everything is fixed. They tell themselves they will relax when the money situation improves. They will smile more when their career reaches a certain level. They will feel grateful when all the stress disappears. They will enjoy life after they solve every problem that keeps them awake at night. The trouble is that life rarely works that way. As soon as one challenge is solved, another one appears. As soon as one responsibility is completed, another responsibility takes its place. If enjoyment is always waiting for a future version of life, then enjoyment may never arrive at all. Think about how many people spend years carrying this mindset. They wake up each morning with a list of things that are wrong. Their focus immediately goes to what needs to be repaired, improved, changed, or controlled. Because their attention stays locked on what is missing, they overlook what is already working. They overlook what is already good. They overlook what is already worthy of appreciation. Eventually, they become experts at finding flaws and strangers to contentment. The truth is that nobody reaches a point where every area of life is perfect. There will always be unfinished goals. There will always be decisions to make. There will always be uncertainty about something. Human life comes with responsibilities, setbacks, disappointments, and unexpected turns. Waiting for complete order before allowing yourself to enjoy a day is like creating a rule that can never truly be satisfied. Some people believe that enjoying life means becoming careless. They think that if they stop worrying, they will stop progressing. They think that if they feel content for a moment, they will lose their ambition. But that is not how successful people think. A person can work toward improvement while still appreciating where they are. A person can pursue goals while still enjoying a quiet evening. A person can build a better future without rejecting the present. Look around at the people who seem genuinely fulfilled. They are not necessarily the people with the fewest problems. They are often the people who have learned how to find value in imperfect days. They know how to laugh during difficult seasons. They know how to appreciate a good conversation even when other parts of life feel uncertain. They understand that joy and struggle can exist at the same time. There is a powerful lesson in that idea. You do not have to earn the right to enjoy your life. You do not have to complete every task before experiencing gratitude. You do not need a perfect bank account, a perfect schedule, a perfect relationship, or a perfect plan before you can appreciate today. The ability to enjoy life is not a reward waiting at the finish line. It is a choice available during the journey. Many people spend years carrying emotional weight that was never meant to be carried every hour of every day. They replay problems repeatedly in their minds. They search for answers that have not arrived yet. They create pressure that follows them into every room they enter. Even when something good happens, they struggle to enjoy it because their thoughts immediately return to what remains unresolved. There is another way to live. Handle your responsibilities seriously, but do not hand them complete control over your emotions. Face your challenges honestly, but do not allow them to steal every moment of peace. Work on your goals consistently, but do not postpone every experience that makes life enjoyable. Growth becomes much more meaningful when it happens alongside appreciation instead of frustration. Imagine reaching the end of a day that was not perfect. Perhaps there were delays. Perhaps there were setbacks. Perhaps some questions remained unanswered. Yet, despite all of that, you still noticed something beautiful. You still shared a meaningful conversation. You still experienced gratitude. You still found reasons to smile. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. The people who enjoy life the most are not those who wait for ideal circumstances. They are the people who understand that life is happening right now, in the middle of unfinished projects, unanswered questions, and ongoing challenges. They refuse to place their happiness on hold. They refuse to make joy dependent on conditions that may never fully exist. As you move through your days, remember this simple truth. You can continue improving your life without rejecting the life you already have. You can keep growing without constantly feeling dissatisfied. You can chase important goals without sacrificing every opportunity to enjoy the present moment. The purpose of life is not to reach a point where nothing needs attention. The purpose is to live fully while continuing to move forward. The moment you stop demanding perfection before allowing yourself to enjoy today, you open the door to a richer, calmer, and more meaningful way of living. Chapter 5. Stop letting small problems ruin good days. One of the fastest ways to lose the joy in your life is to give small problems more power than they deserve. It happens every day. A plan changes unexpectedly. Someone says something you do not like. Traffic slows you down. An email arrives with bad news. A mistake happens at work. A bill costs more than expected. None of these things are pleasant, but many people allow moments like these to take control of an entire day. What began as a small inconvenience slowly becomes frustration, then irritation, then a bad mood that follows them for hours. By the time evening arrives, they are carrying emotional weight that started with something relatively minor. The challenge is not that problems exist. Problems are part of life. The challenge is learning how to respond to them. Many people react immediately. They allow their emotions to take over before they have time to think clearly. A single negative event becomes the center of their attention. Everything else fades into the background. They stop noticing what is still going well because all they can see is the one thing that went wrong. Think about how often this happens. A person receives 10 pieces of good news and 1 piece of bad news. What stays in their mind? Often, it is the bad news. They spend hours replaying it. They discuss it repeatedly. They allow it to shape the way they feel. Meanwhile, the positive experiences receive very little attention. This is not because they are weak. It is because human beings naturally focus on threats and problems. The key is learning how to manage that tendency instead of being controlled by it. Successful people understand something important. Not every problem deserves the same amount of attention. Some issues need immediate action. Others simply require patience. Some situations are serious. Others are temporary frustrations that will not matter a week from now. Wisdom comes from knowing the difference. When you treat every difficulty like a major crisis, life becomes exhausting. When you learn to keep things in perspective, you protect your peace of mind. Imagine waking up excited about the day ahead. You have plans, you have energy, you have things to look forward to. Then one small setback appears. The question becomes simple. Will you allow that setback to define the entire day? Or will you recognize it for what it is, a single event inside a much larger picture? Too many people hand over control of their mood to circumstances that are not worth that much power. This does not mean pretending problems do not exist. It does not mean ignoring responsibilities or avoiding reality. It means responding with balance. Handle the issue. Learn from it if necessary. Make adjustments if needed. Then move forward. Do not keep carrying it from one hour to the next when there is nothing more to be done. Many people miss beautiful moments because they are busy replaying something unpleasant. They sit with family while thinking about a mistake they made earlier. They spend time with friends while mentally arguing with someone who upset them. Their body is present, but their attention is trapped somewhere else. As a result, they lose experiences they can never get back. A powerful question to ask yourself whenever something goes wrong is this: does this deserve to ruin my entire day? In many cases, the honest answer is no. It may deserve a few minutes of attention. It may deserve a solution. It may deserve a lesson. But it does not deserve ownership of your thoughts for the next 12 hours. Life will always include unexpected difficulties. That part cannot be changed. What can be changed is the way you respond. Protect your good days. Protect your energy. Protect your ability to enjoy the moments that matter. Do not hand over an entire day because of a small problem. A bad moment does not have to become a bad morning. A bad morning does not have to become a bad afternoon. A bad afternoon does not have to become a bad life. Learn to keep moving forward. Learn to focus on what still remains good. The more you practice this skill, the more resilient you become, and the more freedom you gain to enjoy your life regardless of the small challenges that appear along the way. Chapter 6. Make ordinary moments feel special again. Many people spend their lives searching for big moments. They wait for a major achievement, a major purchase, a major opportunity, or a major breakthrough. They convince themselves that these events will finally make life feel exciting and meaningful. But while they are looking for something extraordinary, they often overlook the experiences that make up most of their lives. The result is that years pass by, filled with moments they barely noticed, moments that could have brought joy, connection, and meaning if they had simply paid attention. When people are young, ordinary moments often feel more alive. A simple afternoon with friends feels important. A family dinner feels comforting. A walk outside feels refreshing. Small things seem to matter more. Then adulthood arrives with responsibilities, pressure, schedules, and endless distractions. Gradually, many people stop noticing the value of everyday experiences. What once felt meaningful becomes routine. What once felt exciting becomes expected. One reason this happens is because familiarity can make people blind to what they already have. The things you see every day stop catching your attention. The people you spend time with become part of the background. The simple comforts of your life no longer feel special because they are always available. Yet if those same things suddenly disappeared, you would immediately recognize their value. This is an important lesson. Often the things that matter most are the things we have stopped noticing. Think about the people in your life. A conversation with someone who cares about you may seem ordinary. Sharing a meal with family may seem normal. Sitting beside someone you love may seem like another part of the day. But one day those moments become memories. One day those conversations become things you wish you could experience again. The tragedy is that many people do not realize how meaningful those moments are until much later. The quality of your life is shaped less by rare events and more by daily experiences. Most of your life will not be spent celebrating huge victories. Most of your life will be spent in ordinary mornings, ordinary afternoons, and ordinary evenings. If you cannot find value in those parts of life, then satisfaction will always feel distant, no matter how successful you become. Many people have trained their minds to constantly seek stimulation. They need something bigger, newer, faster, or more exciting to hold their attention. As a result, simple experiences no longer feel enough. They are physically present, but mentally restless. Their mind is always searching for the next thing. This constant search prevents them from fully enjoying what is already in front of them. One of the most powerful changes you can make is learning how to slow down your attention. Notice the warmth of your morning coffee. Notice the sound of laughter from people around you. Notice the feeling of fresh air when you step outside. Notice the comfort of returning home after a long day. These moments may appear small, but together they create the texture of a meaningful life. There is something beautiful about appreciating life without requiring it to impress you. A person who can enjoy simple experiences carries a kind of freedom that many people never discover. They do not depend on constant excitement to feel alive. They do not need every day to be extraordinary. They understand that fulfillment often grows from ordinary experiences experienced deeply rather than extraordinary experiences experienced briefly. Some people spend years chasing bigger opportunities while ignoring the life they already possess. Then they reach their goals and wonder why they still feel empty. The answer is often found in the habits of attention they developed along the way. If you spend years overlooking everyday blessings, achieving a larger goal will not automatically change that habit. Appreciation must be practiced before success arrives, not after. As you move through your day, challenge yourself to see familiar things with fresh eyes. Pay attention to details you usually ignore. Value people before time creates distance. Appreciate experiences while they are happening, instead of waiting until they become memories. The ordinary parts of your life are not obstacles standing between you and happiness. They are the very places where happiness is often found. Life is not made meaningful only by major milestones. Life becomes meaningful through thousands of moments that seem small at the time. A kind word, a shared laugh, a quiet evening, a peaceful morning, a genuine smile. These moments may never appear on a list of accomplishments, but they are often the experiences that stay with you the longest. When you learn to make ordinary moments feel special again, you stop waiting for life to happen and begin experiencing the richness that has been there all along. Chapter 7. Spend more time living than worrying. One of the most expensive habits a person can develop is constant worrying. The cost is not measured in money. It is measured in energy, attention, peace of mind, and lost experiences. Many people spend so much time worrying about life that they barely have time left to actually live it. Their mind is always occupied by what might happen next. They imagine problems before they arrive. They replay difficult situations before they even occur. They create stress from possibilities rather than realities. As a result, they carry emotional burdens that may never become necessary. Worry often disguises itself as responsibility. People believe that if they think about a problem long enough, they will somehow gain control over it. They believe endless concern is a sign that they care. But there is an important difference between preparation and worry. Preparation leads to action. Worry often leads to paralysis. Preparation gives you a plan. Worry keeps you trapped in circles of thought that never seem to end. Think about how much time people spend mentally living in situations that have not happened. They worry about conversations they have not had yet. They worry about outcomes they cannot predict. They worry about mistakes they might make. They worry about opinions other people may never even form. While all this is happening, real life continues moving forward. Hours disappear. Days disappear. Opportunities to enjoy the present moment quietly pass by unnoticed. The human mind has an incredible ability to imagine future scenarios. This ability can help you solve problems and make wise decisions. But when that same ability is used without control, it becomes a source of unnecessary suffering. Instead of helping you move forward, it keeps you trapped in fear. Instead of making you stronger, it drains your confidence. Instead of protecting you, it steals your peace. Many worries never become reality. Think about the things you worried about years ago. How many of them actually happened exactly the way you imagined? Probably very few. Yet the emotional energy you spent worrying was real. The stress was real. The sleepless nights were real. The tension was real. You paid a price for events that often never arrived. There is something important to understand. Worry does not make you safer. It does not automatically make you wiser. It does not improve your ability to enjoy life. In many cases, it simply keeps your attention focused on fear instead of possibility. A worried mind struggles to appreciate the good things happening around it because it is constantly scanning for danger, uncertainty, and risk. Some people become so accustomed to worrying that they feel uncomfortable when everything is going well. They immediately begin searching for the next thing to fear. They find it difficult to relax because they have trained their minds to expect problems at every turn. This habit can quietly steal years of enjoyment from a person's life. The most fulfilled people are not those with perfect circumstances. They are often the people who know how to focus on what they can control and release what they cannot. They take action where action is possible. They make decisions when decisions are required. Then they allow life to unfold without carrying unnecessary fear about every possible outcome. Imagine how different your days would feel if you spent less time rehearsing problems and more time experiencing life. Imagine giving more attention to conversations, relationships, learning, growth, and meaningful experiences. Imagine directing your energy toward living instead of constantly anticipating trouble. That shift alone could transform the way your life feels. This does not mean ignoring challenges. Life requires responsibility. It requires planning. It requires effort. But after you have done what you can do, there comes a point where additional worry serves no useful purpose. At that point, all it does is steal your ability to enjoy the time you have. Life is too valuable to spend most of it trapped inside anxious thoughts. There are people to appreciate, places to experience, lessons to learn, and memories to create. Do not allow worry to become your full-time occupation. Give your attention to what deserves it. Face difficulties with courage when they arrive. Until then, spend more time living than worrying. The more you practice this habit, the more freedom, peace, and enjoyment you will discover in your everyday life. Chapter 8. Catch yourself before another year disappears. There comes a moment in many people's lives when they look at a calendar and feel shocked. Another year is almost gone. They remember making plans at the beginning of the year. They remember promises they made to themselves. They remember goals they were excited about. Yet somehow the months moved faster than expected. What felt like a distant future suddenly became the present. This experience happens to millions of people because time never slows down. Whether you pay attention or not, it continues moving forward every single day. One of the greatest dangers in life is not failure. It is drifting. Failure often teaches valuable lessons. Drifting is different. Drifting happens quietly. A person keeps postponing important changes. They keep telling themselves there is plenty of time. They delay meaningful conversations. They delay personal growth. They delay experiences they want to have. They delay becoming the person they know they can become. Then one day they realize a large amount of time has passed while they were waiting. Many people underestimate the power of a single year. They think meaningful change requires some distant future. They assume they need more time before they can improve their habits, strengthen relationships, learn new skills, or create a better life. But if you look back honestly, you will see how much can happen in 12 months. People change careers, families grow, friendships evolve, opportunities appear and disappear. Entire chapters of life can begin and end within a single year. The challenge is that daily life often feels ordinary. One day does not seem very different from the next. Monday looks similar to Tuesday. This week feels similar to last week. Because of that, people fail to notice how quickly time is accumulating. A day feels small, a week feels manageable, a month feels short. But when enough of those days and weeks are added together, another year quietly disappears. Think about how often people say they will start later. Later they will focus on their health. Later they will spend more time with family. Later they will pursue a dream they keep thinking about. Later they will make memories instead of excuses. The problem with later is that it keeps moving. Every time it arrives, it becomes another opportunity postponed. The truth is that life rarely announces how much time remains in a season. You do not always know when a chapter is ending. You do not know how many more conversations you will have with certain people. You do not know how many more opportunities will come your way. This reality is not meant to create fear. It is meant to create awareness. Awareness helps you value the time you have, instead of assuming it will always be available. Many people are busy, but being busy is not the same as being intentional. You can fill every hour of your schedule and still neglect the things that matter most. You can work hard and still fail to enjoy your life. You can stay occupied and still avoid important decisions. Activity without direction often creates the illusion of progress, while valuable time continues slipping away. The people who make the most of their years understand something important. They regularly stop and evaluate their lives. They ask themselves difficult questions. Am I spending my time on things that truly matter? Am I becoming the person I want to become? Am I creating experiences I will be proud to remember? Am I investing in relationships that deserve my attention? These questions keep them from drifting through life without purpose. There is lives with awareness can make every one of them count. Chapter 9. Choose to enjoy life while building it. Many people live as though life and success are two separate things. They believe they must choose one or the other. They spend years working, planning, improving, sacrificing, and pushing themselves forward. They tell themselves that enjoyment can wait. They convince themselves that happiness belongs somewhere in the future after they achieve enough, earn enough, or accomplish enough. The problem is that this way of thinking often creates a life that looks successful on the outside but feels empty on the inside. There is nothing wrong with ambition. There is nothing wrong with wanting more for yourself and your family. Growth is important. Progress matters. Building a better future is one of the most rewarding things a person can do. But there is a danger when the pursuit of a better life causes you to miss the life you are already living. Too many people become so focused on constructing tomorrow that they forget to experience today. Think about someone building a house. Every day they work on it. Every day they add something valuable. Every day they move closer to completion. Now imagine if they spent years building that house, but never stopped to appreciate any of the progress they made along the way. Imagine if they only allowed themselves to feel satisfaction when every detail was finally complete. Most people would recognize how unnecessary that is, yet many people treat their lives exactly that way. They achieve one goal and immediately focus on the next. They solve one problem and immediately search for another. They reach a milestone and barely pause long enough to acknowledge it. Their attention is always fixed on what remains unfinished. As a result, they rarely experience the feeling of fulfillment they have worked so hard to create. One of the greatest lessons you can learn is that growth and enjoyment are not enemies. You do not have to choose between becoming successful and appreciating your life. You can do both. You can work hard while still laughing. You can pursue excellence while still experiencing gratitude. You can stay committed to your goals while still enjoying a quiet evening with people you care about. Many people have been taught that constant pressure is a sign of commitment. They believe they must always be dissatisfied in order to keep moving forward. They think contentment will make them lazy, but contentment and complacency are not the same thing. A content person can still be highly motivated. A grateful person can still have big dreams. Appreciating where you are does not mean giving up on where you want to go. In fact, people often perform better when they enjoy the process. When you find meaning in the work itself, you develop greater resilience. You stay engaged longer. You experience less burnout. You create a healthier relationship with achievement. Instead of constantly feeling like you are behind, you begin recognizing the value of each step forward. There is also another reason this lesson matters. None of us know exactly how much time we have. Many people spend decades preparing for a future they assume is guaranteed. They postpone experiences they care about. They delay joy. They delay connection. They delay rest. Then they discover that life does not always unfold according to their plans. That realization often arrives too late. The wise person understands that every stage of life deserves attention. The early years matter. The difficult years matter. The rebuilding years matter. The successful years matter. There is no chapter that should be skipped simply because a better chapter may arrive later. Every season contains something valuable if you are willing to notice it. As you continue building your future, remember that your life is not waiting for you at the end of the journey. Your life is happening during the journey. It is happening during the work. It is happening during the learning. It is happening during the challenges and victories alike. Do not postpone your ability to appreciate it. Continue setting goals. Continue improving yourself. Continue striving for excellence. But while you do those things, make room for enjoyment. Make room for meaningful conversations. Make room for gratitude. Make room for moments that remind you why all your effort matters in the first place. The most successful life is not the one that sacrifices everything for achievement. The most successful life is the one that combines growth with enjoyment and progress with appreciation. When you learn how to build your life while also enjoying it, you stop feeling like happiness is always somewhere ahead. You begin experiencing it along the way. Chapter 10. Start loving the life you already have. As we come to the end of this journey, there is one lesson that may be more important than all the others. It is the lesson that has the power to change the way you wake up in the morning, the way you spend your days, and the way you look back on your life years from now. That lesson is simple. Start loving the life you already have. Many people spend their entire lives looking beyond the present. They focus on the next goal, the next opportunity, the next achievement, the next version of themselves. They become so interested in what could be that they lose touch with what already is. They keep telling another side to this lesson. Catching yourself before another year disappears is not only about achievement, it is also about enjoyment. Too many people postpone happiness while chasing goals. They become so focused on what they want next that they fail to appreciate what they already have. Then the year ends, and they realize they spent 12 months racing forward without truly experiencing the life they were living. Imagine reaching the end of the year knowing you were fully present. Imagine knowing you gave attention to the people you care about. Imagine knowing you made progress where progress mattered. Imagine carrying memories instead of regrets. That kind of year is built one day at a time, not through dramatic changes, but through consistent awareness of how you are spending your life. Today is a good time to pause and take an honest look at where you are headed. Do not wait for another year to pass before asking yourself what matters. Time is one of the few things that can never be recovered once it is gone. Use it wisely. Use it intentionally. Use it in ways that create meaning, growth, connection, and fulfillment. Catch yourself now. Wake up to the value of the days in front of you. Because the years move quickly, but a person whose realization often arrives too late. The wise person understands that every stage of life deserves attention. The early years matter. The difficult years matter. The rebuilding years matter. The successful years matter. There is no chapter that should be skipped simply because a better chapter may arrive later. Every season contains something valuable if you are willing to notice it. As you continue building your future, remember that your life is not waiting for you at the end of the journey. Your life is happening during the journey. It is happening during the work. It is happening during the learning. It is happening during the challenges and victories alike. Do not postpone your ability to appreciate it. Continue setting goals. Continue improving yourself. Continue striving for excellence. But while you do those things, make room for enjoyment. Make room for meaningful conversations. Make room for gratitude. Make room for moments that remind you why all your effort matters in the first place. The most successful life is not the one that sacrifices everything for achievement. The most successful life is the one that combines growth with enjoyment and progress with appreciation. When you learn how to build your life while also enjoying it, you stop feeling like happiness is always somewhere ahead. You begin experiencing it along the way. Chapter 10. Start loving the life you already have. As we come to the end of this journey, there is one lesson that may be more important than all the others. It is the lesson that has the power to change the way you wake up in the morning, the way you spend your days, and the way you look back on your life years from now. That lesson is simple. Start loving the life you already have. Many people spend their entire lives looking beyond the present. They focus on the next goal, the next opportunity, the next achievement, the next version of themselves. They become so interested in what could be that they lose touch with what already is. They keep telling themselves that life will finally feel meaningful when something changes. But life is not waiting in the future. Life is happening now. It is happening in the home you live in today. It is happening in the people who are around you right now. It is happening in the opportunities already available to you. This does not mean you should stop growing. It does not mean you should stop dreaming. It does not mean you should lower your standards or give up on improvement. Growth is valuable. Ambition is valuable. Building a better future is worthwhile. But there is a huge difference between wanting more and refusing to appreciate what you already have. One mindset creates motivation. The other creates endless dissatisfaction. There are people who achieve incredible success and still struggle to feel fulfilled. They reach goals they once believed would solve everything. They earn more money. They gain recognition. They accomplish things they once thought were impossible. Yet something still feels missing. Why? Because fulfillment was never going to come from achievement alone. Fulfillment grows when appreciation becomes part of your daily life. Look carefully at your own life. There are things today that you once hoped for. There are opportunities you once wished you had. There are experiences that an earlier version of yourself would have been grateful to enjoy. Yet because those things are now familiar, you may no longer notice them. Human beings adapt quickly. What once felt exciting eventually feels normal. What once felt valuable becomes expected. This is why appreciation requires intention. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is taking time to recognize what is already good. Not because your life is perfect, not because there are no problems, not because everything has gone according to plan, but because there is always something worth appreciating if you are willing to look for it. There is value in relationships. There is value in growth. There is value in experience. There is value in simply being alive and having another day to learn, improve, and contribute. Many people believe they need a completely different life in order to be happy. Often what they truly need is a different perspective. They need to stop measuring their worth against everyone else. They need to stop focusing only on what is missing. They need to stop acting as though every blessing becomes meaningless once it becomes familiar. The quality of your life is shaped not only by what you possess, but also by what you recognize. When you begin loving the life you already have, something remarkable happens. You stop feeling like you are constantly chasing. You stop feeling like satisfaction is always out of reach. You begin noticing beauty in ordinary experiences. You become more present with the people who matter. You become more grateful for opportunities that once seemed small. You carry a deeper sense of peace because your happiness is no longer dependent on some future event. As you move forward from this point, continue building your future with passion and purpose. Continue working toward meaningful goals. Continue becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable. But do not make the mistake of rejecting the life that exists right now. Do not postpone your appreciation until some later chapter. Do not assume that fulfillment lives somewhere far away. Your life is already happening. These days matter. These moments matter. These people matter. The experiences you are living through today will eventually become your memories. Make sure they are not memories of constant rushing, constant dissatisfaction, and constant waiting. Make them memories of gratitude, growth, connection, and presence. The greatest gift you can give yourself is learning to love the life you are living while you continue creating the life you want. When you do that, every day becomes richer. Every experience becomes more meaningful. Every year becomes more valuable. And you finally discover something many people spend a lifetime searching for. The life you were waiting for was already here.